What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you'll receive a notification every time that I drop a video, and you can go and check the video out. Let's get into it. Well, before we get into it, shout out to the homie C Red for the Cash App. Appreciate you, brother C Red. And everyone else who sent a super sticker or whatever in the past. And Knock Technology, you had sent a PayPal a month or so ago. I tried to respond because you asked about advertisement or something, but it wouldn't let me send you a message. But I appreciate the PayPal, brother. And once again, C Red, thank you for the Cash App. I received it yesterday, I believe. And let's get into it. This story is about Porky once again, and it takes us to the federal penitentiary. Now, as I told you before, Porky was there in the feds. He was very young when he was there in the federal penitentiary. Hell, I mean, when he passed away, he was very young. He was still like 29 years old or so. So when he was in the feds, this was years earlier before he was in the county jail, where, as I said, he was handcuffed in his cellie. His homie, our homie, another homie, had stabbed him multiple times while he was handcuffed over something having to do with a neighborhood car. And Porky was about 22, 23 years old when he was there in the federal penitentiary. And in came a young dude from Budlong in the federal penitentiary there with Porky. I was surprised to find out, even from Porky's own mouth, that they had become pretty close, him and the dude from Budlong, only because Porky is so serious about Hoover, so entrenched in it, man, and defends it with his life. However, the politics in the federal penitentiary is a bit different than in the state penitentiary, and of course, than in the county jail. There in the feds, most of the time, in most federal penitentiaries, from my understanding, the Los Angeles car in total sticks together. The up north car sticks together, so forth and so on. But the car in Los Angeles, no matter where they're from, opposition or not, blood or crip, what have you, they tend to stick together more in the feds, just as an LA whole, as one unit from Los Angeles. The dude from Budlong was kicking it with Porky often. They were eating, playing basketball together, working out together, the whole nine. Even though Porky was in the cell with the homie. Now, this was before the homie had stabbed Porky in the cell. But at this time, I believe that they were still cellies. At least for some of this time, when Budlong and him were kicking it pretty tough there on the yard. Budlong was also just kicking it with some of the homies in general, with the Hoovers in general, because as I said, they were essentially one monolith. The Los Angeles car, they were all together essentially as one. And so regardless of the opposing hoods on the street and the conflicts thereof, there in the feds, they had a propensity to stick together. This was good. And Porky said that he liked the young dude, and the dude from Budlong was also young, about Porky's age, 22, 23 years old. I don't recall his name. Porky had taken a strong liking to him, said that he liked his character, that he was a strong dude, and he wasn't for none. He represented his hood, but he was very respectful towards Porky. But he, being from Budlong, he had heard of Porky, of course. He knew who Porky was to an extent, but I'm still not sure that he really knew what he was getting himself into by befriending someone like Porky. And not long after this friendship had become one, the Southsiders and the blacks had an exchange on the yard. A very hostile exchange. In fact, come to find out, it was a standoff between the two factions, the two ethnicities. The Southsiders wanted a black removed off the yard for one reason or another. And the standoff had ensued because no one had given word that that would indeed transpire, that they would remove the black from the yard. During this standoff, Budlong and a couple of other blacks broke ranks and went over there and began to converse with the South Side hierarchy, and essentially had made a promise to them that they could not keep, that they would remove the black from the yard. Now, when the blacks caught wind of this, everyone was outraged. For one, no one wanted them over there talking to the Southsiders without getting approval from the black hierarchy. Budlong and the others who had went over there to converse were not shot callers and had not gotten an okay from anyone in the black community to go over there and make a promise to the Southsiders. Well, the blacks wasn't sure that they were going to remove this dude from the yard if his infraction was worthy of a bloody removal. So they didn't want anyone going over there making any promises about what was going to happen until they discussed it amongst themselves and made a decision. And Budlong and the others didn't tell any of the black community what they were about to do. The standoff was happening, and then he just like, man, look, man, let me holler at you, and just walked off from the blacks and went over there and started hollering at the Southsiders without telling anybody what he was about to do and what he was about to say. Some people saw that as a very bad move and that he was bowing down. Porky couldn't really believe what he was seeing because he had took a liking to him and had believed that the dude was very strong. But he was not strong in his politics and with the wherewithal with knowing the rules, because he had just violated a very serious rule. He broke protocol, broke rank, and went over there, unbeknownst to everyone else, making promises that he certainly could not keep. He was in no position. On the way in, at Yard Recall, Porky was just talking to him and trying to explain to him that that was a bad move. And some other blacks were talking to the other blacks that had went over there with Budlong. But Porky, since he was connected and so tight with Budlong, said that he would just holler at him. Not aggressively, but just let him know, like he would let a little bro know, man, that was a wrong move and here's why. Porky was young, but he was still wise. But before they can really hash out the conversation, they had to get back to their cells. So Porky went back to his cell and he said that, well, he was brooding. He was pondering this and decided that he would confront Budlong there in the day room. But he had no sinister intentions. He said that he just wanted to go and confront him and explain to him again that the move that he had made put everyone in jeopardy, and this is why. And this is why you should never make such a move again without the rest of the black community sanctioning such a move. Porky said that he was not going to be aggressive and had no ill intentions whatsoever towards his little partner, Budlong. He entered the day room and Budlong was there, as was other Southsiders and blacks. And he put Budlong to the side. He did not confront him in front of everyone, loudly and aggressively. He put him to the side and just began to talk to him like they spoke every day for the last few months. when they had cultivated this strong relationship. And he was trying to explain to Budlong where, in his eyes and others, he had went wrong. But Porky said he didn't realize that Budlong was so headstrong and willful. And he didn't want to take any criticism, albeit constructive. This began to irk Porky because Budlong is telling him that, man, I was just trying to resolve the situation. There's no need for blacks to get hurt or them to get hurt over something minute. And Porky told him that's neither here nor there, whether you believe that the situation was minute or not. What's on the table is you breaking ranking protocol and going to speak out of turn to their shot callers, making promises about what the black community is going to do about the situation during a standoff. That's what's on the table, and this is where you're wrong. But again, Budlong was steadfast and stuck to his guns and saying he had done nothing wrong. And that in fact, Porky, he believes, is confronting him and fronting him off in front of the day room. And that in fact, they're not cool anymore and he should just bag up. And essentially, just remember where he's from and where Budlong is from. I didn't have to hear the rest of the story to know how it ended. Well, Porky unleashed one and socked him right about the mouth area. And he did drop Budlong. I have proof of this. There's witnesses. I didn't just hear this from Porky. As I said, the homie was in the cell with him. They ended up stabbing him up at this very juncture. I didn't stab him up at this juncture, but he was in the cell with him about this time. And Porky had a coffee cup in his hand. These coffee cups in the penitentiary, well, they're dangerous. They can really wreak havoc if someone hits you in the face with one, with the back of the coffee cup. They're very hard. And that's exactly what Porky did. Porky said that he had just blacked out and lost it because the dude was loud talking to him and it got aggressive. And it basically told him to stay in his place. And again, I just figure the dude from Budlong, though having heard of Porky at some point in his life, didn't really know Porky's background and his violent tendencies. Porky hit him with the coffee cup and split his forehead open while he was down there on the ground. But then the blacks came over there and grabbed Porky and got him up off the dude. And Porky said he pretty much came to. And for the first time in his life, he felt bad about a violent act. Because he said he really began to have love for this little dude. But that the dude had got out of line on the yard by confronting or talking to the Southsiders, and then personally now with him, and that he had just lost it. I know that he has a proclivity to just lose it. But I know him, so I would know better and I would tread a little bit more lighter. I'm just keeping it real, unless I'm just ready to go all the way up with him. Because that's what the hell's going to have to happen. If you come at him with some nonsense, you better be ready. Budlong was not so much ready, didn't really know to the extent of the person that he was dealing with, that the person had diabolical propensities. They were separated after that. Budlong went to the hospital and got his forehead stitched up. And they separated the two, and as far as I know, they had never met up again. And that was the end of that. It was an ugly situation from my understanding. It got really bloody in there. Budlong was wrong. I don't know exactly what happened in the day room or what caused Porky to black out exactly what was said, but something that was said caused him to lose it. And all hell broke loose. Oh, man. Sheesh. I'll be back. In the meantime, stay free, people.